Hey everyone, what's up? Welcome back to a video. Today's my day off. Today is a Friday. So Fridays and Saturdays are what I call my days off. I don't have to work. I'm always working on my own stuff, but the other stuff I work Sunday through Thursday. So usually Fridays are the days I head out and do some adventuring. And I missed last week, but I mean, I was doing other stuff. I woke up this morning and my neck, I don't know what I did. I got like a pinch or a knot or something right at the base of my neck on the left side here. And yeah, it's actually pretty annoying one, you know. You get different ones, wrenching on stuff. I was out wrenching on the Land Cruiser 60 series last night, and I must have did something. You know, I've been leaning into that engine bay or going up from underneath doing stuff, and you get in weird positions and you're really wrenching on something. It's bound to happen. So I don't know, we'll see. It's just 10 o'clock in the morning right now. I'm actually heading over to Harbor Freight Tools. Finally decided to just pick me up a very cheap utility cart, you know, like just a cart that I can wheel out. I'm always putting my tools on everything, the air cleaner, the radiator, the battery. I got tools always spread out everywhere. They're falling. So and I'm too lazy to bust out one of the plastic tables. So it's like a rolling table, just a small one. I'm gonna go see what they got. Probably could have used this a long time ago, but that's what I'm doing right now. I got some things planned for this weekend. I'm making a video this weekend about the 60 series. I just give you kind of a spoiler. I don't know if this will come out before that, but man, I'm so close to, you know, checking my work, basically trying to start it up and see how it runs, if it runs. I just have some issues with the power steering pump, but the place I got it from, they came through huge for me, and I'll talk about it in the video. Basically, they're warranting it and they're sending me another one, but I actually messed this one up. I mean, it was messed up, and then I messed it up even more, and I was more than willing to just buy another one because of what I did, but they're sending me another one, so hats off to them, man. Yeah, so I'm just down in town heading over to the tool store, and last night I was sitting around just watching some YouTube, and I came across a channel. It's actually the brother of a channel that I watch. These two brothers each have their own channel, and they're both into cars, but they're kind of opposites. One's like does trucks and does a lot of things, does a lot of fabrication work. The other one's into these street cars, the street racers like Evos and Subarus and, you know, Supras, GTRs, all kinds of cool stuff. And it's pretty interesting. But one thing I took away, I watched a couple of videos, and like, wow, he's got a lot of cars, you know? But listening to him talk about his cars, and I think he has like 8 or 10 cars. So I kind of found a kinship with that, you know? I'm thinking, hey, maybe I'm not that crazy after all, you know, because I had my eye on even another car, but I passed on it, because right now the amount of cars that I have is, I wouldn't say it's perfect, but it's good. It leaves me a free space in the driveway when I'm doing like the car shuffle to get things out of the garage or to work on things. But you know, I was listening to this guy kind of explain I like this car. I like this car for this reason. I like this car for that reason. This is different than that, and this ride's different. This engine pulls different, and you know, I really could see. I knew exactly what he was talking about, because that's the way I feel about these different four-wheel drives that I have. I'm in the Lexus right now, and I actually, over the past couple weeks, I did a little bit of work to this. I didn't film any of it because it was piecemeal here and there. I was just getting it done when I could. And I put new coilovers on the front. I've had these coilovers for a few months, at least a few months, waiting to put these on. When I put the bumper and the winch on here, where I had a level sitting car, it nosedived, it raked the front end, and I really don't like that look. When you lift a vehicle and it still sits raked in the front, it's not a look that I like personally. Sometimes there's nothing you can do about it, but this one, it actually ended up raking a lot because it was perfectly set up for the stock bumper, and then you add all that weight up there, and then it didn't ride that great off-road. But I really liked those Bilsteins that I had on there. They were the 6112s or something. They were bigger than the standard 51s. And they're really good, but they're non-adjustable. Spring rates, they're fixed. So once I added that weight, it was a deal breaker. But they're not that much money, so it feels like I was able to use them for, you know, a good full season, and that's awesome. But I put these new ones on, and I think I got the front end level, and it feels really good. It drives good. I got it aligned because I dropped the lower A-arms, so I messed up the alignment. Well, there's a fair amount of people out today on a Friday. So I'm in the Lexus, and I was talking about the different vehicles and all that stuff. So this is one of those, it's just really comfortable. Yeah, it's an old car. And that's the same thing with this YouTube channel guy. They don't buy brand new cars. You can't, unless you're some kind of crazy millionaire, you know, buying brand new. He's fixing up like, you know, late 90s to mid 2000s in the teens, right? A lot of single digits, 2007, 8, 9 in there. And that's what this is. This is a 2007. I mean, it's getting up there in age. But it's so nice, you know, it rides so good on the road. It's very comfortable. This is like when I have to go to the pickup part up in Flagstaff or something, when I got a couple-hour drive, I definitely grab this thing because it's very comfortable, but super fun off-road. Very fun. It's a great all-arounder. And that's the thing I love about this one, is just how comfortable it is. It's almost like luxury, even though it's an older vehicle. And you got the Jeep rough and ready for the Jeep, the way I have it set up, and then the 80 series is a pig, but you know, it's very slow, but I love it. It's like riding on a couch. Yeah, all I'm saying is I felt justified in having all these vehicles once I saw there's other people out there that kind of do the same thing that I do. Good morning, it's the next day. I'm heading over to one of my favorite monthly events, Cruisers and Coffee. A bunch of people meet up at a coffee shop, Method Coffee over in Prescott, and hang out. And then some people go on a trail ride after. I usually don't. I've got other things going on these days, but one of these days I'm gonna go out with these peoples. Seem like they have a good time. Lot of variety of vehicles. I'll see if I can show you some of the different vehicles. It's not just Land Cruisers. It's actually not very many Land Cruisers at all in comparison. A good variety of stuff, like I said. Seen some really neat things here over this year. I've been going there this year now for, well, once a month since last December. Pretty neat. I like when you can find things in your local area maybe you didn't know existed, or, you know, clubs, car clubs, cruising clubs, events where you can go and meet kind of like-minded people that like doing the things that you do, you know? So that's where I'm headed right now. Well, I decided not to go on the trail ride with everyone from the Coffee and Cruisers place because I got work to do on the 60 series. My shop is a mess. Look back this way. Alternators, power steering, all my tools are everywhere. Got the bike. I still haven't sold my Grom, but I put a battery in it. It's running primo. I still have some stuff on the ground here for the Lexus. The rear coils, and I got rear shocks. So I've got the front done. I blew out the rear shocks. The front ones were still fine. I blew out the rear shocks because they were the very small Bilsteins, and I was hitting it really hard. So I have these, but they're for a 3-inch lift. So they're a lot longer, and I don't want to, I can't really lift it that high in the back because I won't be able to compensate in the front. Anyway, that's a whole nother video. So here's my powers. This is my main problem with the 60 now. This bolt right here, it holds the fluid reservoir on, but in here there's an O-ring groove, and I filled it up. I just filled up the reservoir. I didn't even run it, and it started leaking out of there. So I pulled the bolt off. So I have these special mechanics wrenches. I don't know if you can see how long that is. So they're longer. So I backed it off. You can't back it off all the way because this pulley here is in the way. While it was on the car, I backed it off to see if there was no ring in there, and there was. So I put it back in. I figured, oh, I'll tighten it up a little bit more. Snapped it right off. So I went to order another one, and I added a note to the order and said, hey, because I had talked to the guy, and he actually sent me O-rings for it in case there was a missing one. And I just said, hey, I checked the O-ring, it was there, so I went to tighten it up a little more, and I snapped the bolt off in it, so I just ordered another one. And he credited me the order, and he said, hey, that's covered under warranty even though you snapped the bolt off, because the original problem was it was leaking. So today I'm trying to get everything done. Wow. Look at my head, it's so bright. I'm trying to get everything done so when I get that back, I can try and start this bad boy. I'll have a dedicated video for this, but I'm really close. That's the fuel injector. I put this in. I had a new alternator, a new power steering pump that I've had to pull back off. Here's all the wiring for the fuel injector. Here's the new fuel hose. And so what I'm doing today is linkage. It uses a low car cable link rather than the setup that was for the carburetor. I put on a new master cylinder for the hydraulic clutch, and I put on a new slave cylinder for the hydraulic clutch. I have a bypass here. This used to be the air pump for the smog system, so when I get my power steering pump back, I'll put it in, put back in the alternator, and try and start this thing. And that probably will be next weekend because I just ordered it yesterday on a Friday, so it probably won't ship out till maybe Monday, and it's coming from Northern California, so that's probably a good 2 days at ground. So I'll probably get it by next Thursday or Friday. I'm at the point of this 60 that I need like some motivation. I need to hear it run, you know. I heard it run on the carb for about 30 seconds on starting fluid, but I need the next step. This has been over 6 months, but I only come out and I do a little bit, like an hour here, an hour there. The inside, I haven't invested any money in this thing, so I don't know if I'm gonna like it or not. So here's the inside. It's jacked. This is the computer for the new fuel injection. So you get a little computer inside. So I've got that all wired. All the wiring's done. All the wiring's done. I just have it sitting on the floor so it's not in the sun. Clutch actually works now. Now I got to work on the throttle. But I did put in, I started to put in some of the Dynamat back here. So you see what I'm getting at? I want to hear this thing not only run, I want to try and drive it around the block, because I don't know about the transmission, the axles, the transfer case. I don't know about any of this. I don't even know about the clutch, other than I put in a new slave cylinder. Old alternator, Napa alternator. Pretty cheap, 60 bucks, something like that from Napa. Hey, that's good. So that's what I'm working on right now. I got throttle cable over here. Those are the two ends. This goes inside. This goes to the fuel injector. Was charging my battery on the Grom. So I moved the Grom in here because I was working in the other garage on the Lexus on the front end. Tell you, when you get a vehicle that has travel and it's lifted, working on the ground, you're doing more work. It's really tough. Trying to get that thing high enough just to get it on jack stands to where I can drop the axles down. It's almost like you have to do it halfway, take off the tires, then go up high. It's tough. I mean, I have no provisions here for a lift, but I see these guys who have lifts. Man, must be so much easier. I mean, in some ways it's not. Anyway, that's what I'm going to finish my day up on. I'm not really going to get out adventuring this weekend. I know I had kind of said I was going to go out adventuring on one of the days, and I was going to do some work on the 60 and make basically 2 videos, and I really kind of didn't do, well, I kind of did it, but I'm working on the 60. I've worked on it a little bit Thursday, a little bit Friday, and now today's Saturday. I just want to get it, now that I got the wiring done, I could probably try and start it right now, but I have all the belts off, and I just want to get this. There's only a few things that I kind of did that were what I would call temporary, to get me remotivated. But I try not to do too much of that, because like if you do something, if you can do it right the first time and it's done, then you don't have to think about it. If you got this laundry list of things like I need to do this and this and this, once you start driving it, you might not go back and fix those temporary things. And trust me, I'm from experience is what I'm speaking from. So I'm just trying to get everything done right. I'm going to wait another week to try and start it. And I tell you what, I'm going to work on the throttle cable, and I'm going to take a look at some things, anything that I think that might prevent me from trying to drive it when I get it started, because that's what I really want to do. I want to drive this thing around the block. One thing, I want to get it turned around. I'm working on the engine, and it's out there. I know it doesn't seem like that big of a deal, but if it was turned around, it was right here, it'd be a lot different. So if nothing else, because I backed it in here right off of a trailer, it was dead. 10 years it sat. So I'm hoping that all this like kind of patient, long-term work pays off and ends up being something really fun to drive and works really good. So that's going to do it for me, you guys. This was kind of a weird hybrid video. It was a little bit vlog style, just showing you what I did this weekend and what I've been working on. I really love off-roading and adventuring in the fall and winter and spring. And right now we're coming off of summer. It's not been that hot, but the mosquitoes have been really bad this year, like really bad. I got the Thermacell. I was out here last night, and when it gets like after 3, 4, 5 o'clock, I had the Thermacell inside the engine bay, so I was breathing that smoke in. I'm not sure if that's good. I also sprayed, I got in my toolbox here, sprayed that on my arms. And I still got bit a little bit. One of them followed me into my office. Last night I'm sitting there watching a movie up in my office, and I got bit 6 times. I counted the welts. Ankle, calf, thigh, and on my side, because I had my feet up, It was one mosquito in there biting the crap out of me. I looked it up online. How many times can one mosquito bite you? It says they'll just keep biting. They don't like, I've had enough of this guy. So that's what's been holding me off a little bit about adventuring, every single weekend like I do in the winter. But that's fine. I'm perfectly happy I love working on stuff. So I'm going to have a dedicated video for this when I put this stuff back on. We started up with the fuel injector for the first time, and then maybe drive it. I don't know. We'll see. Fingers crossed. All right. All right, you guys, that's it for me. Thanks for watching.